How you doing? How you doing?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5 o'clock, and welcome to the February 5th version of our regular school board meeting for District 882. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please let the minutes reflect that member Jeff Hegle is absent this evening. Thank you. Moving on to our agenda, we need a motion to approve our tentative agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in, we have a motion from Melissa Curtis and a second from Casey Root. All those in favor of approving our agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion passes 5-0. We have no citizens' comments tonight. Moving on to fiscal stability, we have a consent agenda that includes our minutes from the previous meeting, as well as our personnel matters. Members received these in advance. We've had discussion and questions answered as needed, and we are ready to move forward with our consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Melissa Curtis, seconded by Casey Root. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Consent agenda passes 5-0. Moving into our collaborative connections, item 6, we have a resolution for acceptance of gifts from Superintendent Eric Olson.
All right. Just once again, our community really came out in full force these last couple of weeks and are really connecting to our programs across the district. So here are some following donations to be accepted, and obviously we will make sure to send a lot of thanks and praise to these folks. Steve Terrell, $1,000 for our boys tennis team. Gateway Music Festivals and Tours, a donation in memory of Madison Argo, donated to support local music programs. Monticello Friends of the Library, going to our Monticello High School activity account for supplies needed for high school orchestra. Jat Restaurants, sponsorship for Resilience Conference this coming summer. Second year of that conference. Hilgart, our mayor, but through his company H Brothers Painting Incorporated, Monticello Middle School STEM, and then Anonymous of $5,000 gift to Monticello Middle School. So as you can see, amounts of $1,000, $300, $150, $500, $1,000, and $5,000 all coming to us in a very short amount of time for some amazing programs.
We are extremely fortunate as a district. Every meeting, we have thousands of dollars in donations, and we don't ever want to take that for granted and fail to express our deep appreciation to the community and to the businesses for these generous gifts. We have a resolution that will be read by member Melissa Curtis.
Therefore, be it resolved by the Monticello School Board, District 882, to gratefully accept the following donations. Steve Terrell for $1,000 for the boys tennis team. Gateway Music Festivals and Tours, Stacy Thielman Jost for $300. A donation in memory of Madison Argo, donated post to support local music programs. Monticello Friends of the Library, $150 for the Monticello High School activity account for supplies needed for high school orchestra. Jat Restaurants for $500 for the scholarship for Resiliency Conference. Lloyd Hilgart, the H Brothers Painting, $1,000 for the Monticello Middle School STEM program. An anonymous donor for $5,000, a gift to the Monticello Middle School.
So all those in favor of accepting the resolution, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say no. Resolution for the acceptance of gifts passes 5-0. Now we move on to item number B, reorganization of the scholarship fund, and the board is extremely happy to welcome Scholarship Administrator, Mr. Jim Johnson, who is also our previous superintendent here at Monticello Schools. It's delightful to see you again, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Thanks for
glad
having
that-
me back. I appreciate it. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Scholarship Foundation, just a very, very brief overview of what the foundation is. In 1984, at that time, Superintendent Shelley Johnson and other community members came together to form a 501c3 that is called the Monticello Education and Scholarship Foundation. So it's been in existence for a long time. The focus really of that organization has become the scholarship portion of the program. It's been a point of pride for our community. There are many community members who have contributed to this throughout the year and continue to do so. It is something that's unique to Monticello. I don't know of many other districts who have anything that's quite like this. This past year, we gave out well over 100 scholarships and exceeded, I think, $150,000 in this last year. And so it's something that really does benefit our community and our students. The Scholarship Foundation, per their bylaws, has a separate board from the school district that provides oversight of the scholarship program. The foundation is separate from the school district, but the school district has served as the fiscal agent for the money that the scholarship foundation has. Those dollars are held in Fund 18, which is a custodial account, again, held by the school district. The Scholarship Foundation determined in late October that it would be best served as an organization if we moved these dollars to an organization that has expertise in managing similar types of arrangements. The district is limited in how these dollars can be invested, and therefore that limits the potential gains that could provide additional dollars to the foundation and therefore our students. I, as chair of the foundation, am asking on their behalf that you would approve the transfer of the scholarship funds from the school district's custodial fund to the Community Giving and Central Minnesota Community Foundation, which is out of St. Cloud. I'll entertain any questions.
Will the distribution and selection of the students continue in the current mechanism?
Very good question. Yes, we will continue to work closely with the district. District staff has always worked closely with the foundation board. They've been non-voting members on that board. That will continue. We actually came up with Eric put together kind of a here's what the district will do, here's what the foundation does. And it's really just past practice, but we formalized it. So that will continue. The scholarship selection process will remain the same. We're still planning on a scholarship night where those will be announced and the dollars will be distributed. The one change will be that under the current situation, the district writes the check directly to the student. That will change. Now the foundation will be writing that check and it will be going directly to the educational institution that student will go to. That will take care of possible fraud issues and things like that. It'll also protect the district. They'll be really out of the scholarship dollars management or distribution.
Mr. Johnson, just for the purpose of anyone who might be watching on the live stream, can you please go through, I've been a scholarship reader for many, many years, but maybe just briefly describe this scholarship process so that the parents and other people understand how students that are seniors can apply for these scholarships.
Sure. So right now, actually, very shortly, the counselors at the high school will start to put the information together and provide the information to the students. That information will include all of the scholarships that are available, the criteria that students need to meet in order to be eligible for one of the scholarships. And the scholarships there's a variety of them. Students who are going to 9-month programs, to students we have some that are going to medical school, so really across the board. And so that information is given to the students. The students fill out an application, which includes information about themselves, where they're planning on going to school, also a letter that they share that's more of their personal story. And then since COVID, we've moved to a process whereby people volunteer to read scholarships, and if anybody's interested, and I would really encourage board members to be a part of that process, you are given a set of scholarship applications to read. They're all anonymous, and then you score those. And then that goes back to the counselors at the high school, and then the counselors at the high school take and determine which students get which scholarships based on the input from the scholarship readers. And then on a date, again, mid-May again this year, Mr. Olson? Yes, mid-May this year, we'll have a scholarship night at the high school, and those scholarships will be awarded at that time. One of the changes that's taken place in the last few years, it used to be that we tied it in with, it was right before a couple days before graduation, students would come in. Nobody knew who got the scholarships. Students are now informed ahead of time if they're receiving a scholarship. They don't know which one, they don't know the dollar amount, but they do come in, and then you don't have the uncomfortable situation with students and families sitting out in the audience and they don't receive a scholarship. So I think I've got everything covered there, Mr. Olson, pretty well? Okay.
Is there any questions from the other board members?
Yeah, got a couple questions.
Yep.
Did you say it's the high school counselors then that have the final decision on who receives the scholarships?
Again, the criteria and things are all set up, and so, yeah, based on those scores, the high school counselors are the ones that make the final determination. Now, and I don't know what it's like, go ahead,
We
Eric.
have put together a team who does the final, and it's not just counselors, but we have some administration and some coordinators there as well. So it's a little bit broader scale of a team that makes the final placement. Like Dr. Johnson shared, it's it's really the criteria establishes the direction of the scholarship. So it's not the counselors per se picking and choosing which scholarship each individual has earned, but it's the criteria itself that shows which students are eligible. Because each of the scoring, the readers score using a rubric, and so there is a numeric value that's assigned to the whole applications, each application.
So think about it almost as if they're slotted in. So, you know, the students who are eligible for this one, the highest score of the students who are in that one are going to get, you know, that's going to get this scholarship, and then the next one gets this one, and then the next one gets this one. So it's really slotted in that way. So there's not, nobody's looking at a name and saying, oh, well, I know their mom, I'm going to make sure they get this. It's truly based on the number, and that's how they get slotted in. It's pretty much a blind choice, you know, at that point.
So do I understand this correct, that some of the control on this is going to be taken from the Monticello local area and be handled by a group out of St. Cloud?
No, all of that all of the process will still remain here. What they do is they take and invest the dollars so that we can get a better return on the dollars. We will notify them of who is going to be getting those scholarships. They'll communicate, we'll share with them communication between them and the student so that they know where that student is going to school, and then they will basically cut the check and send it to the school. So they are just dealing with investing those dollars and then cutting the check. They have no part in the selection process or anything like that. All of that remains the same. It remains local. That was one of the things that was very important to the Scholarship Foundation, is that we kept that local and kept it here.
Thank you.
I want to just add that I think the way that the foundation was formed was really brilliant, because many families are extremely generous. Maybe they give a donation in memoriam for a lost student or for some other personal item, and to be able to bring all of those together under one administrative function rather than have 25 or more individual scholarship applications and processes, I think is just a really wonderful way to do that. And if we can grow that fund and earn a little interest on it, what I'm hearing you say is they have a little more freedom than we do with our budget, with how we can invest money. So I'm certainly in favor of that.
Yep. Yeah, TINA is very limited just based on law about how those dollars can be invested, that foundation group. And this is what they do. They work with organizations like ours to invest those dollars. They're managing them on a daily basis, you know, making sure that we're getting the best returns. So it's very safe. We took over 2 years analyzing this, bringing different people in to make the choice to go with this organization. So we feel like they've been well vetted, and we're very comfortable with the group.
I've been a reader before, and you learn a lot about the process by being a reader, but you're not allowed to be a reader if you have a child graduating that year.
Yeah, I will echo what Melissa Curtis has said, it's very moving experience to read the personal statements of the students, how hard they work, what some of their goals and dreams are. It's incredibly inspiring, and I would encourage anybody that has not been a volunteer to be a scholarship reader to please do that, because I think each batch is reviewed by at least 15 or 20 blinded readers. So there's all of the identifying information is removed from the file. So you're just looking at the statements, and it's really moving. So I just want to echo what Melissa said. Is there any further questions for Dr. Johnson from the board? Okay, we need a motion to move forward with the reorganization of the scholarship fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Melissa Curtis, seconded by Casey Root to reorganize the scholarship fund to the Community Giving Foundation. Did I get that correct? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
and good to see you again.
I think everybody on the Scholarship Foundation is going to be very happy. They worked hard at that.
Moving on to item number 7, innovation and leadership. We have Superintendent Olson that has some comments to make for School Board Appreciation Week.
Yeah, and I'm going to invite both Tina Burkholder and Jeff Sherber up to the podium, and they have a little bit of gratitude to share.
All right. I get to go first. I got the mic first. But I just wanted to say, as a parent and an employee of the Monticello School District, I would like to thank our school board members, what we like to say at Rotary, service above self, and your commitment to our students. Balancing the financial needs and opportunities for our students is no easy task. However, your dedication ensures a pathway to their success. Through your vision and guidance, along with the ones before you, you're creating and sustaining opportunities for every kid every day. And again, just want to thank you for your service and dedication for the growth and development of not only my kids and my nieces, but all the students of Monticello.
That's hard to follow, Tina. So, School Board Chair Ziebarth, board members, Superintendent Olson, I want to thank you for this opportunity to recognize you during School Board Appreciation Month and speak on behalf of our administrators here, our building principals, and our district administrators. I was visiting with Eric a little earlier. Our 7th graders are doing an activity now where they write on a card and they say thank you. And I was in the classroom this morning. It's part of a move it, kind of push it forward type message. And the teacher in that classroom was encouraging them to be very specific of what you're thankful for and sharing that gratitude. So it's kind of neat. When you get a card, it's kind of cool to get that from the kids. So we got a card from our building administrators and our principals, and we wanted to share that with you, and I'll share a little more specifics. So board members, we want to thank you for being present, not just tonight, but at all board meetings, all sessions, work sessions, committee meetings that you're on. Being present at all the meetings throughout the community, whether it's a evening at a elementary school, a PTO meeting, a parent involvement meeting, or an activity at the high school or sports activity, your presence is really felt and appreciated. I know that the middle school students really appreciated you guys at their booth last month. It meant a lot to both the staff and the students, so thank you for that. I've even sat with some of you at a varsity football game during homecoming in the middle school section, and I want to personally thank you for that. That really shows a lot of courage there as well. Also, we want to thank you for asking good questions and listening. I think all of us staff, whether you're teaching staff, support staff, custodial staff, kitchen staff, everybody want to feel like they go to a place where they're valued and they're heard. And we appreciate you not only being present, but listening and asking good questions. It's very much appreciated. And finally, we want to thank you for your courageous leadership. We know that your job is more than just, your role is just not just setting budget and policy, but balancing out all the challenges that a community of over 14,000 people, 4,000 students, and Tina just updated me, over 700 employees. So that's a hard and challenging job as you navigate through the expectations that come from St. Paul, MDE, our legislature, and then balancing out those expectations with the value of this very diverse community is a big responsibility, and we want to say thank you for that. We are one of several exceptional schools in this area. Providing that healthy balance of pressure and support keeps us on the cutting edge of innovation and community engagement. Thank you for your support and encouragement as we take risks to try to get better and do all we can to keep our community competitive while valuing the different perspectives and backgrounds of this community. Eric Olson, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I'll turn over the mic to Eric now.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that we paused here, and you know, it's a job that a lot of people don't in the community don't understand what you do, and I think both Ms. Burkholder and Mr. Scherber captured the hundreds of hours, you know, in a short period of time. I mean, I think in times there may be boards that put in, you know, 4 to 6 hours a month, but you guys are a board that is very, very engaged trying to learn, trying to support each other. You're a group of diverse thinkers and very caring hearts. And so we wanted to acknowledge you on this very special month, and thank you for your leadership. It does not go unnoticed, as you can see. And we have a certificate of appreciation for each one of you. And I'd like to share those with you. And of course, I have to thank Devaney for helping with the certificates.
I wanted to say thank you on behalf of the board, and just it up. Is there anybody that has any additional comments to say? That was really beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I just want to say it's an honor to serve our community. And it's really all of you and our students that really make this, all the hours we put in worthwhile. It's truly rewarding, what we're doing here. But also, thank you for putting our names up on the little running thing. I got a phone call from some friends saying, school messed up. They've got you as a student of the month. and then I'm like, oh, no, it's for the board. Thank you. So I did receive some phone calls that were funny, and then also them thanking me. So that didn't go unnoticed. So thank you.
My husband said the same thing. It took you a long time to be middle school student of the month. So thank you very much. You know, we serve students and the staff in the community. That's our role here, and that's what we're here for. And I think, as Superintendent Olson said, there are some boards that just are minimally engaged, but I don't think that's us. We're very much engaged, and we all have skin in the game because we all have kids in the district or recently have had kids graduate from the district. So we're proud to serve, and we will do the best we can for the time that we're here. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I think we have a very healthy board.
Your microphone.
I was told not to move it specifically. Thanks for the recognition to the whole board. I think one of the other things too that's great about Monticello is we actually have a very, what I consider, healthy board. We have a lot of debates, a lot of discussion. Everyone does their own part to dig in, and there's a lot of different opinions on the board, but I think everyone respects each other. Districts out there where people just fight back and forth, but I think we work together very well. So it's good to be part of this board. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So.
Anybody else?
Sure, I'll chime in. Thank you as well. It is a lot of fun serving, and I find that most of the joy that comes from serving as a board member is being out at the activities and the athletic events in the schools and on the fields and the courts, and seeing a lot of you there. It's fun to see the teachers and the administrators, and thank you for taking time in the evening away from your personal lives to be a part of that also. Makes it a lot of fun, I think, for the kids. thank you again.
They've done a good job summing it up, so I'll just say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to keep rolling here because we have recognition of two of our board members. The first one is to recognize Kathy Ziebarth, who has completed 100 or more hours of attendance at MSBA-sponsored meetings and activities within a 4-year period of time. So like that's MSBA activity. So when we say hundreds, like that was just MSBA that in that short amount of time, be able to put 100 hours just towards those types of trainings. And that's nothing to do with the school board itself and with policy and budget. So yeah, so this is a huge honor, and she is amongst a very select few that were able to be recognized here recently in January at the MSBA Leadership Conference. So they have also sent up a certificate for you for completing that milestone. So thank you, Kathy. I think and also another honor that came forward here recently from MSBA. There is a certificate honoring Casey Root for completing the MSBA Leadership Development Program, which has been accomplished successfully by attending Leadership Workshop Series Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and Phase 4. And that's a big deal in the state of Minnesota. And so we're very proud of you for putting that dedication towards those trainings. So thank you to Casey Root, and then I think congratulations to you.
I'll just take a quick sentence to explain the trainings that we go to. If you want to think of them as continuing education, or teachers call them professional development, the things that we take additional training on are safety and security for school districts, budget, all sorts of management things, superintendent search, contracts. So this is a way for us to continue to serve high level and to make sure that we're not just giving uneducated opinions on things, that we have some solid background for the things that we recommend and that are recommended that we follow. So, I want to say that I believe this is the first time all of our board has completed all of the leadership series, so in quite a number of years. So we made that a priority a year ago, and I'm just really proud that we've made our own education a priority so that we can be better servants. So thank you. So moving on to safe and healthy culture, we're going to welcome to the podium Mr. Rob Daniker, Director of Human Resources, to discuss first reading of policies.
Chair Ziebarth, members of the board, Superintendent Olson, thank you for welcoming me this evening. The board policy committee was busy this month. We are bringing 8 policies forward for first read this evening. The first 4 policies are MSBA updates over the last calendar year. The next 3 are annual revisions that are required. And then the last one is a local policy that we reviewed and made a proposing amendment to. I'll start with 419. 419 is the tobacco-free environment, possession and use of tobacco, tobacco-related devices, and electronic delivery devices, vaping awareness and prevention instruction. That's a long title. Thankfully, we shortened it up for the board agenda tonight. The purpose of this policy is to maintain a learning and working environment that is tobacco-free. After the first read, we do have a couple of questions that we will forward off to MSBA for a couple of clarifications, and those will be shared with board members prior to the second read for additional information. Nothing terribly controversial, just some nuances that we're looking for clarification on.
Are there any questions on policy 419 for first read for Mr. Daniker? Okay.
All right, moving on to the next policy for consideration is 418, drug-free workplace, drug-free school. The purpose of this policy is to maintain a safe and environment for employees and students by prohibiting the use of alcohol, toxic substances, medical cannabis, non-intoxicating cannabinoids, edible cannabinoid products, and controlled substances without a physician's prescription. Fairly straightforward. There is, and MSBA does send out a template form that goes along with this policy. However, as a district, we meet the purposes of that form, which is basically an employee sign-off of acknowledgement of this policy existing. We have employees sign off for that in the annual staff handbook. Any questions from the board on 418 at all?
I believe we are going to clarify a couple of terminology items that you would communicate with us before second read.
Correct, yeah, so there's a couple of,
Just single word.
yep. Okay. Sorry, just getting my documents in order here. Okay, next up is 406. That is public and private personnel data. The purpose of this policy is to provide guidance to school district employees as to the data the school district collects and maintains regarding its employees, volunteers, independent contractors, and applicants. It's fairly straightforward and highly regulated by state law. There is a draft form that MSBA attaches to this one. It is not included in the agenda for this evening, but will be included for second read. Fairly straightforward. It's a consent to release data request from an individual. We would use that form in the case where an individual asks the school district to release private data to an outside entity or person because the district does not have statutory authority to release the data. It must get the individual's written informed consent. Again, that form is referenced within the policy, but we're going to put that on letterhead for the second read.
Any questions? Discussion? Okay.
Okay, moving on. The next one is, we're at 102. Policy 102 is the Equal Education Opportunity policy. The purpose of this policy is to ensure that equal education opportunity is provided for all students of the school district. Again, this is in the 100 series of policies, so fairly straightforward and again, highly regulated by statute. Any questions on 102?
Doesn't appear so.
Next is policy 806. This is crisis management policy. As you can imagine, this refers to how the district manages crises that might arise. The purpose of this policy is to act as a guide for school district and building administrators, school employees, students, school board members, and community members to address a wide range of potential crisis situations in the school district. The step-by-step procedures suggested by this policy will provide guidance to each school building in drafting crisis management plans to coordinate protective actions prior to, during, and after any type of emergency or potential crisis situation. Each school district should develop tailored building-specific crisis management plans for each school building in the school district, and sections or procedures may be added or deleted in those crisis management plans based on building needs. We had an extensive conversation regarding this draft policy, specifically because Monticello is one of only a handful of districts in the state which is within a 10-mile radius of a nuclear power plant, and so talked quite a bit about our preparedness and our procedures for an emergency of that nature. Any
Are there
questions?
any questions or further discussion on crisis management 806? Okay.
Okay. Next is 616. This is school district system accountability. The purpose of this policy is to focus public education strategies on a process that promotes higher academic achievement for all students and ensures broad-based community participation in decisions regarding implementation of the Minnesota K-12 academic standards and federal law. The committee's, there was 3 sections of this draft policy which required specific district input. One was the insertion of a hyperlink to the established curriculum review cycle, and the current review cycle is from 2022 through 2028. The next was establishing a date by each year in which the district advisory committee will meet will first meet to advise and assist the school district in the implementation of the school district accountability and comprehensive continuous improvement process. And the the third piece of local information was that a clarification, which is in the state statute regarding this content, but just outlining that the school board will establish a process and also will have the final say in the determination of the composition of the district advisory committee.
Is there any discussion from the board? Okay, thank you.
410, this is the family medical leave policy. The purpose of this policy is to provide for family medical leave to school district employees in accordance with the Family Medical Leave Act of 1993, otherwise known as FMLA, and also with parenting leave under state law. Again, fairly straightforward since most of this policy is spelled out by the federal regulations and state law that are pertinent. There is one section of the policy, just to clarify, provide clarification for that the district does use a 12-month rolling procedure for calculation of FMLA qualification, and that is the recommended procedure to use.
Any questions on family medical leave 410? Okay,
All right, and finally, policy 905. This is advertising. The purpose of this policy is to provide guidelines for the advertising or promoting of products or services to students and parents in the schools. The majority of the conversation on this topic tonight had to do with amending the current Board Policy 905, which limits advertising to only extracurricular sites or venues in the district. That is not required by law, nor is it present in the MSBA draft policy or template on this topic. And so the policy committee recommended amending this policy to eliminate that limitation, as it were. And so this broadens the scope of possible advertising opportunities and locations within the district.
is there any discussion from the board?
Yeah, I have one question. As far as the advertising goes, that we're opening up the limitations to allow for advertising, what exactly are we advertising?
Yeah, so in terms of what we're advertising, that depends on the advertiser who approaches the district for, to advertise. So, it could be anything from, I don't know what examples are across the district. Superintendent Olson, maybe you can kind of.
The scoreboard?
Casey and I just went to a different high school along with Mr. Colwell and a teacher and pathway coordinator. And outside their career technical classes, there are businesses there that sponsor different pieces of either the equipment or the whole program itself. So we would have examples of that in our STEM lab, people who would love to donate towards modules so that they can have a partnership that's not only about the donation, but it's about the partnership in, that module and being a true 360-degree partner. Yeah. So those would be examples that we've seen in other school districts, and those would be examples that we would like to explore here further.
Well, it fits in very well with what we've been talking about lately with engaging the community better and utilizing their resources. So I like it where that works out well.
This is a very complicated policy because it covers everything from, if you imagine like the fishing club has logos and things from their donors, and other sports teams do as well. And then we have sponsorships, we have things like the scoreboard sponsors, and then we have other just mundane advertising. So it does cover quite a large reach. And we're trying to make sure that we address all of those different issues within this policy.
And there's an approval process to make sure it's appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah, it comes up to the board for approval, so we would have a say in all the approved advertisement.
Any additional discussion or questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, and again, no action required tonight. These are first reads only.
Those will be coming to the next board meeting for second read.
Which is a good reminder that it is next week.
Next week.
So
We have
short turnaround.
Yeah, we had usually we do it every other week kind of schedule, but because of the President's Day holiday, when we set our meeting schedule for the year, we have two back-to-back. So there is another meeting on Monday, February the 12th. So is there any further discussion or questions, comments from the board? Finding that we have reached the end of our agenda, we are adjourned as of 5:40 PM. Thank you very much. The board will be moving to a work session after about a 10-minute break to circle up our tables.